Hey there, welcome to this workshop. My name is Lena and I want to introduce you to emotional journey mapping today. This workshop is based on Chapter 9 of the book UX Research Methods for Media and Communication Studies. If you want to learn more about this topic or UX research methods in general, I highly recommend this book. But let's get started. So what is emotional journey mapping? Emotional journey mapping is a research method that helps UX researchers understand how a space makes the user feel by observing the user completing a process within a product or service and mapping their emotional journey. This is a research method that aims to provide the user with an enjoyable and rewarding experience through empathy rather than just focusing on function alone. The researcher can track the path, sequence of events, or touch points that users move through while using the space. And for each step, the researcher traces the user's emotions, such as how pleased or frustrated they are. Touch points, by the way, are each area visited or task completed. So think of them like the major steps that users are taking while navigating your space. And they are mapped chronologically on the map. In the end, the actual map is so important because it helps visualize the highs and lows of the user journey, giving researchers valuable insights. So let's go ahead and look at an example of emotional journey mapping. Imagine you go to the grocery store and the parking lot is just awful. So right off the bat, you are furious, you are angry. Then you start your shopping experience going from aisle to aisle, and your mood may improve a little, but you're still sort of annoyed. That parking lot situation just ruined your entire shopping experience. Until you get to the bakery, and you discover that your favorite cupcakes are back in stock, and you are excited. And immediately, you forgive the grocery store for the bad experience at the beginning of your shopping trip. What UX researchers can learn from tracking your experience and creating a map then, for example, is that maybe your shopping experience is heavily influenced by what happens before you even enter the store. So they could recommend to the store to have enough parking. Or maybe it's a good idea to always have delicious cupcakes in stock. Who knows? So essentially, emotional journey mapping is concerned with understanding a user's complete experience from opening an app or a website to closing the app or browser tab. But generally, you can use emotional journey mapping on any kind of product or service experience. How this works is, at each touch point, researchers know how pleasing or frustrating the experience was, how long the participants stayed in that space, what they did while there, and any other responses to interview questions. And the best thing is that emotional journey mapping is pretty flexible, meaning that you as a researcher get to decide what and how you want to measure results. You get to decide the emotional spectrum. So depending on the product or service that you are researching, you may need a different emotional spectrum. The spectrum could be ranging from entertained to bored, satisfied to disappointed, or pleased to frustrated. Next, you also get to decide what types of data you want to collect beyond touchpoints. So for example, time spent, notes taken, images, etc. Lastly, you have to make decisions on the touchpoints. There are different kinds of research. One is an open-ended journey, which means that the user is using the product or service as usual, and they would create the touchpoints depending on how they are using the service or product. Or there's also a closed-ended journey, which means the researcher decides on the same list of touchpoints for every single participant. Okay, so when should you use this research method? Emotional journey mapping should be done right at the beginning of your user-centric project in the empathize stage, before the research problem is formed. This is because you want to find out how a user is using the product or service and how it makes them feel. And what do you need to create an emotional journey map? Journey maps can easily be created by hand in the most basic way. All you need is paper, a pen, maybe some post-its or a whiteboard, whatever you have works. If you do prefer technology, Microsoft Excel is also very useful as it allows you to create graphs or use cell colors and other functions to create visually impressive maps. But remember, a good journey map uses color and arrows and other graphic indicators to really represent the highs and the lows of a user's journey. So here's an example of what an emotional journey map could look like. I made this fictional map representing an online shopping journey. As I have mentioned before, you have a lot of freedom when it comes to how you want to set up your emotional journey map. And of course, it also depends on what you are researching. But let's just assume you also create a map of your last online shopping journey. Your touch points could look entirely different than mine, or you could choose a different color scheme or different emotional spectrum. All of these things are completely up to you. So what I decided to do here is that I put the touch point line in the middle to kind of indicate the neutral zone between positive and negative emotions. But as you follow these touch points from the left to the right, you'll also notice that they could represent duration, if I had chosen to time my shopping journey, and I could have gone into a lot more detail about the journey in general. Like I said, it depends on what your goals are. So let's look at what happened in this map. You can see on the left side the login was pretty easy, so the mood is still good. Then I looked for a product and that was kind of overwhelming because there was way too many products. Then I discovered the filter option, which made it a little bit better, but it still took me some time to figure it out. I finally found a product, but it's not available in my size. And this is so frustrating. We all know that, so my mood just plummeted down. And then I found an alternative product through the suggestions that the site gave me, and this is really exciting because I found something that works and now I feel a lot better. I added to my cart, but then I discovered that the delivery time is longer than expected and now I'm really disappointed. So you see here, there's actually a bunch of things that researchers can learn from this visualization. For example, that a lot of products are really overwhelming, or you're risking losing a customer if you don't have an item in their size. Maybe that delivery times are really disappointing for customers, but also that the suggestions at the bottom of the page are a really good idea to keep the customers shopping. And this brings us to our last point. Once you have your journey map, how do we analyze the results? Well, naturally, you will take note of where the journey dips into the negative, and that's probably where the user's experience needs to be improved. Make sure, however, to also pay attention to the positive emotions as they help you, 1, understand users' preferences and therefore allow you to learn how to address users' frustrations better, and 2, work in a proactive manner for when you have to create changes in the future. Most importantly, however, always remember you don't want to find the perfect journey, but simply see the experience through the user's eyes and learn how they feel while being within your space. And now it's your turn. By yourself or with a partner, imagine you are the UX researcher. Choose an app or website and create the stakes for a functional emotional journey map. 1. Choose a website or an app and decide what you want to map. So do you want your participants to change their password, make a purchase, upload a picture, or whatever you want to research? You decide. 2. Decide on the specific touch points, so the major points and the path your participants should take. 3. Choose an emotional spectrum, so how do you want to frame their emotions? 4. Choose other details, such as a color scheme. Do you want to measure time spent? Do you want to collect images? And 5, create your emotional journey map. Now in real life, you'd have participants and you'd observe your participants on their journey, and you could also ask them real good questions that help you understand what's going on in your participants' heads. If you do not have any participants at hand, just practice by yourself. Plan the emotional journey map and then draw out a hypothetical emotional journey map just to see what a real life example could look like. Thank you so much for participating in this workshop, and you can pause the screen here while you practice. I wish you good luck on your journey. Bye!